Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your host, Tony Spera, with host Ed and Lorraine Warren, and a special guest tonight, Mrs. Gail Martin, correct?
Yes.
Mrs. Gail Martin, from Brookfield, who had a unique experience happen to her about 13 years ago. And what I'd like to do on this show is to start out first prefacing with Ed and Lorraine. The show is basically going to be about spirit photography and ghosts, things of that nature. I'd like to start out with Ed and Lorraine explaining what happened in this photograph that Gail was involved in.
Well, Gail came to us as a student, but prior to coming to us, Tony, she had attended a lecture the three of us had given in Monroe. Am I right? Mm-hmm. In Monroe. And she gave Ed a little photograph, a little small 3x5 photograph, and it showed a woman, the spirit of a woman, standing next to her in her yard. I was intrigued by that photograph, and I took it and I had a slide made of it, and I brought it home and looked at it, and you could make out now on the slide all of the detail of this elderly woman. You could make out the fact that she was wearing like some sort of a dressing gown and a house coat over it. And she is looking at Gail.
We have a slide of that. They can put it on.
Yeah, we have, and she is looking at her, and she is digging in her garden. Now Gail becomes a student. I never connected at all. I didn't connect the same person who gave the photograph.
She was the person in the photograph.
That she was the person in the photograph.
I see.
Because, Tony, you're looking at the ghost more than you're looking at the other person. And then she mentioned one night in class that she had another photograph taken moments later. Now, the history of all of this is really phenomenal. But I think Gail should tell that story.
I think it'd be good
about
if she could explain her experiences
the
before
house
we
she
see that
bought
slide.
and everything.
I think that'd be nice. Gail?
Well, we bought a cottage, and we did a lot of construction on it, made it into a house. And this picture was taken during that construction.
Okay.
From what we can gather about it, we believe that the woman is a woman that owned the property before we did.
Okay.
And we tried to get a little bit of background on her because we really can't recognize who she is. We just know it's nobody that we know. So we reached the niece of the woman that owned that property, who we believe this is, and we're trying to get a little bit more information about her to verify who it actually is.
What did you think of the picture when you first seen it?
Well, we were so busy working, and we didn't really give it a lot of thought. Initially, we kind of laughed about it because it looked like a statue standing next to me, and we just figured it was a double exposure, and really didn't pay a lot of attention to it.
And imagine how many people viewing this think psychic photographs are double exposures, too.
Well, I had seen your lecture in Monroe, and then I said, gee, with the pictures that you had shown, I said, I have a picture like that at home, too. So that next day I went and dug it out, and I had the two of them there. I had forgotten that they were both there.
That's the incredible thing about this, Gail, is that, number one, this spirit woman is looking at you. She looks kind of amused over the fact that you're digging in that property. And then the second shot, you're laughing because your husband said something funny to you. And this woman has actually got her hand up to her mouth and she's laughing, which shows that the spirit is very aware of what you're saying and what you're doing. And that's incredible. You know, we have two pictures like that, large ones, but we do have a slide which they'll see the first picture. I know it's going to come up there sometime.
Okay, well, I think before we see the slide, I don't know if we could even focus in on this. I think they're going to put the slide up, so I won't be able to show this.
No.
So I think we'll see the slide first, and then we'll look at this. Maybe this would be a better shot. I'm not sure which would be better.
Better. I don't know which was going to be
about
better.
13 years ago it was taken.
There it
taken,
is.
Okay,
There
here
it is, Tony. Now, you see that Gail is higher than that woman. But Gail is on a pile of dirt. She's up, and she is digging, and the woman is looking down at her, what she is doing. Now, this woman had all sorts of gardens and things in this area, but there were so many sentimental attachments to this particular property. The house that Gail is living in, we believe,